Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
This is Band From Ringside.
Tonight on the Band From Ringside podcast, we have your WWE Draft results. AEW marches towards Double or Nothing with the Four Pillars match being set in stone. Your WWE Backlash predictions. Sonata with his first title defense at New Japan. That and a whole bunch more tonight on the Band From Ringside podcast. Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Mark. So welcome to the Band From Ringside podcast. As always, I'm your host, Bill Veggie, a.k.a. Omos only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. And sitting directly across from me, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB?
Well played. I was getting ready to say he was definitely a point of contention discussion, if you will, at our impromptu BFR draft. I still had to giggle when I did the timestamp on the pod last week. I was like, these jokers still didn't pick Omos. I can't believe it. You two ought to be ashamed of yourselves. As the president and vice president of the Omos Appreciation Society, you two should be ashamed.
The Omos Sapiens.
Shame. And on that level, we know now, ask the congregation to bow their heads as I read from the latest edition of the Band From Ringside podcast, volume 306, chapter 3, verse 14, and the good smart saith, hashtag boo the heels. It's all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat the holy trinity of BFR. Interesting week of wrestling, nothing too big, but, you know, we're going to talk about it anyway.
We are coming at you from beautiful St. Charles, Missouri. I mean, this is the nicest night that we've had for podcasting in a long time. And we went through some doozies. We've had it rain. We've had snow. We've had 0 degree weather that one time. We've had it hot. This tonight is perfect. 2 beer Zach Pullman. 3 beer Zach Pullman, a.k.a. the human calendar. Was pulled away tonight for some fatherly duties he had forgotten about, so he might join us later depending on how things go with his kids' track meet. So keep your fingers crossed.
So is that what they call the strip club, the track meet?
That's actually a pretty good name for a strip club, actually. The track meet's not bad. That's not a bad name for a strip club.
Raise Boom Boom Room and the track meet.
So I was telling Jason prior to us coming on the air that this week, the friend of ours who passed away a few weeks ago, he and I played in a couple bands together for a long time. And so this big memorial thing that's coming up in a few weeks, his parents wanted us to do some songs at it. So we are going to be playing some songs at Off Broadway in downtown St. Louis. So we had to shake some rust off. A couple of the guys hadn't played in a while. Just so you know, like I held my own. I sounded pretty fucking good. But anyway, 3 of the guys that were there were 5 of us there total. 3 of the guys that were there were the 3 people that played our theme song. And after I had done, the first bong rip that I've probably done in 10 years, nice. They said, hey, we have a surprise for you. And then they played the Band From Ringside song live for Brett and I in the room. And I can't tell you how hard we were laughing and how funny it was and how cool it was to see it live. So, to Dan Reuter, Dustin Schaefer, and Tom MacArthur, my boys, my homies, thank you for the impromptu performance, and I expect another one.
I'm jealous.
Next week, but not after a bong rip, because, man, I was fucking white-knuckling at home, dude. Oh, my God.
I say, damn, dog.
It's like these songs take me in a time machine. Back to when I was 25, I thought I could hang on. Give me a fucking bong.
You okay? Put your hands over your head.
I was not in a good place. Stoned out of my mind.
Amazing.
But, without further ado, let's get to that 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
That's funny as shit.
I was driving home like the wicked witch. I was like fucking just eyes like barely over the steering wheel. I was like, oh, you're okay. You're okay.
Right, just talking yourself down. Come on,
Don't look at the Don't look at the speedometer. You're good. You're good.
You're doing 45. No, I'm speeding like a motherfucker.
You look at the speedometer. You look back up. You're swerved all the way over. You're like, oh shit.
What the fuck, dude?
There's only a half second.
What you going to try, motherfucker?
How did I swerve that much?
Right. Oh shit! What count?
Don't drive impaired.
Right? Yeah. Yes. I'm sorry. All
it's not
jokes
funny.
Aside, all jokes aside, but your boy was probably. I wish I'd have been a fly on that wall for that shit. Say, damn, dog, you all right? You need me to drive?
Not healthy. I'm 43.
You should have this down by now. God damn it.
No shit.
One count is the WWE Draft. Obviously, Friday night SmackDown. Last Friday night SmackDown was night 1, Raw night 2. We'll just go over what we saw on SmackDown and Raw and kind of break it down a little bit, maybe do a little foreshadowing of what's to come. SmackDown starts with Roman, Paul, and Solo Sikoa as the number 1 overall pick. I guess this is where what I have the problem with it off the bat. I mean, you just can't pick Roman Reigns. I mean, damn. You can't come back and then pick Solo Sikoa. I mean, it's not like y'all don't have the control of the draft. This is where, as much as I was trying to talk myself into it was like, this is a good idea. I like Bill's idea. It should come every year so that way you can kind of like stamp it in your head. This is a tradition. It's going to happen at this point. Right off the bat, I was just like, dude, come on. You can't. I get what you're trying to do. I get it. But don't do it. Don't be WWE when you ain't got to be WWE. Just pick Roman Reigns. Just pick him. Come back and pick Solo Sikoa. Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman are basically attached to the hip, so they're going wherever. How's Paul Heyman a fucking draft pick?
That's what I was thinking. Well, I mean, that was one of the things I was thinking. The other thing I was thinking of, wait a minute, Roman and it's not even like Roman and Solo are a tag team. Like, they've never tagged together. It's like, what? But then it's like, okay, well, I'm trying to apply logic to something that's completely illogical. It's like there were so many factions just picked. I mean, I think SmackDown picked the LWO. There's 5 people in it.
Right. I was like, come on, man. This destroyed. For the sake of time, I get it. But it was could have been done off backstage.
And I was like, wait a minute. So they're just going to pick. Like, so they're actually going to do, like, the number 1, 2, and 3, 4 picks, and they're going to call that the first round. It's actually going to be the 4 biggest stars in the company. I forget what the other ones were. I didn't even write it.
I wrote it down.
I didn't even write it down after I saw Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa. I started writing it down, and I was like, oh, fuck. But this is fucking stupid. Like...
The visual, if there was a visual media, Bill just threw the pen. It's just like, man, fuck this.
Fuck. I mean, seriously, fuck this.
No, it was getting a little ridiculous. Cody, obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, but Cody Rhodes, number 1 overall pick for Raw. Second pick to SmackDown is Bianca Belair, and then Becky is Raw's second pick for the first round. Then you could go to second round picks, Street Profits and Edge on the SmackDown side, Imperium, Riddle on the Raw side. Third round, Lashley and the OC, which was, I was like, Jesus Christ, they're still alive. You know, it's good to at least know that they're up and, you know, at least coming back. That was an indication that AJ Styles is at least on the road back to the ring.
Yeah, powerful comeback, too. Wow.
Drew and Miz on the Raw side for the third round. And then fourth round, Damage Control. Once again, still a surprise that they're even together. One of the bigger surprises, Isla Dawn and Alba Fry brought up from NXT as the NXT Tag Team Champions on the women's side. We'll talk about that. I'm sure you got thoughts on that. And then Nakamura and Indy Hartwell, another surprise coming up from NXT. Surprise being that she was the NXT Women's Champion and nonetheless drafted to Raw. More fallout from that on NXT on Tuesday night. But that's basically the first 4 rounds of the draft. Nothing really, I shouldn't say nothing really surprising per se. The multiple picks being the biggest surprise. Damage Control still together. Still a surprise. I guess we're going to drag that thing out. I guess if there's I hate to say like winners and losers because on the when they did Raw, I had to start thinking, who's going to look good, who can come out ahead. Gunther feels like he's the one person that immediately came out ahead on the first night. At some point, he drops the IC title, but he's on the side where it's a non-Roman Reigns world title. So he can go against, whomever the champion is, and it feels like he would have a legitimate chance. Even against Roman, I think he would have a legitimate chance of taking the title in non-kayfabe style. In kayfabe, all bets are off. It would be Imperium and the Bloodline on the outside beating the shit out of each other while Roman and Gunther are on the inside. So that would be just a shit show to say the least. On the Raw side, we'll go over that real quick. First round picks, SmackDown gets Austin Theory and Charlotte. Rhea Ripley and Seth go to Raw. Second round picks, Uso and LWO go to SmackDown. KO and Sammy, Judgment Day go to Raw. Third round, Asuka, MIA, and Brawling Brutes go to SmackDown. Liv and Raquel, that's the other thing. Liv, Raquel, and New Day go to Raw. Let me stop right there. As tag team champs, I think you should be able to bounce from any show. These the women tag team champs should bounce from any show. They're not, shouldn't be contractually bound, quote unquote, to one show. Sammy and KO, at some point, I think it's going to have to be time that they drop one of the titles. I would like them to do it, voluntarily, look like, nice baby faces. Here's your shit back because, the Usos been running roughshod with 2 titles for damn near a year plus, I'm sorry. Here's the title back, whichever show they're on SmackDown or they're on Raw. Give the SmackDown titles back. You have a tournament, crown new SmackDown champions. Neither here nor there. Last round, Karrion Kross and LA Knight go to SmackDown. Trish, whatever, and Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler go to Raw.
Ronda Rousey, how the mighty have fallen.
No
she
shit.
gets taken in the fourth round, in the quote unquote fourth round. As a tag team, oh my gosh! I bet she's gonna be so mad. She's probably gonna walk down that ramp so mad. She's gonna be wearing her leather jacket. She's gonna say, "I'm so mad. I'm a heel now. I'm gonna look mad. When I'm a babyface, I'm smiling." So this was stupid. Nothing about it interested me except for a couple things. First thing being. Gunther to Raw and Austin Theory to SmackDown. That is interesting to me. I am interested in seeing what Gunther does on Raw because Gunther is a super interesting wrestler. I'm psyched to see where this year takes him. I think he's only lost one time since he's been to WWE, and I think it was Dragunov. I don't think he's lost.
Yeah, you're making me think.
I don't think that he's lost. So they obviously have big things for him. Something somebody else said this week, and I can't remember who it was, but they were like, "Man, if a guy, it's because he got married." And I don't know if you saw the pictures of him getting married, but he was wearing that suit. That suit wasn't wearing him. Some people get worn by the suit.
Agreed.
Some people wear suits.
He wore that suit.
He wore that fucking suit.
Yep.
And it was pointed out on Twitter that, if somebody makes that big of a commitment to drop those LBs and just keep those LBs off and look how he looks, that says something to the guys in the back. That says, hey, this is a guy that we can trust. This is a guy that we can put something big on. This is a guy that we can put the company on his shoulders if we need to.
The brand on his shoulders if you need to.
For sure. So I'm very interested to see where Gunther goes in 2023. I'm actually kind of there's just a little off subject, but the 3 guys, actually probably 4 guys that I'm looking to in 2023 to see what they do. Let's see if these guys are actually going to move up the card.
Right.
Is Gunther, Solo, Riddle, and Montez would be the guys. I was surprised to see Street Profits stay together, especially how much they fucking teased it. It's like, why would you guys tease it that much and then not do it? There were no shockers. They didn't split up any. The only thing that they didn't do was draft the Usos with the Bloodline. It's like, so wait a minute. So now you guys can only book the top of the card again, but whatever. Gunther and Austin Theory interested me. The only other interesting things to me, because I don't care who's on what show, basically, because when shit gets down it doesn't matter. They both start going between both shows. It really doesn't matter. They don't do Raw pay-per-views and SmackDown pay-per-views anymore. They tried that for a while, and then they got away from it. That might have been a Vince thing. I might like to see Triple H bring it back. The NXT call-ups are interesting to me, and not just because I watch NXT. It's because I'm like, okay, so who's going to make it up here? Like, who's going to, like, we got JD McDonough going to Raw. He called himself on NXT the other night. He said, I've been waiting 20 years to call myself the Monday Night Madonna.
Damn.
I'm interested to see where that goes.
Okay.
Just that one line. Indy Hartwell voluntarily gives up her belt on Tuesday. NXT, she was in a walking boot. But, you know, as somebody who has watched her since she came in, she really has grown as a performer. And I like her quite a bit.
There's a ceiling. It's a I wouldn't say a high ceiling, but I think there's room for Indy Hartwell on the main roster for sure.
Zoe Stark goes to Raw.
Now there is someone that I think has a high ceiling. I expect her to be a women's champion at some point.
Yeah, I think people are real high on her backstage also. Let's see here. Katana Chance and Caden Carter, that's shocking to me because they've always been it's always like, what are these two indie wrestlers like when I say indie wrestlers, I shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
What are they just don't scream stars.
They don't scream main roster to me.
No, not at all. Indus Share does. They're on Raw. I would like to see them do with Veer and Sangha what they should have done with the Authors of Pain and that they didn't do. Los Lotharios, forgot about those guys. Raw drafted Odyssey Jones. I wouldn't be surprised.
Saw that this morning.
I wouldn't be surprised if Zach doesn't know who Odyssey Jones is. Because he only I mean, I know that you do because you know everything.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
But you're not going to be surprised by any names on here. But Odyssey Jones is a guy that wasn't on NXT very much at all. He
got hurt for a while there, and when they switched from Black and Gold to NXT 2.0, he was like one of the first big guys that they tried to bring out and introduce or whatever. He was on a few shows. He got hurt. I can't remember what it was, and he was gone for a hot minute.
Yep.
And then he just, came back, let's say, within the last 6 months or whatever the case may be.
I mean, yeah, but not really. Like, he came back and kind of had a couple matches. Like,
that's when I stopped watching.
He's not somebody that's on TV every week.
Okay, so I'm not sure exactly.
Even if I don't watch NXT, I look at the recap and I write down everything, and I would be writing down. I know that I don't write Odyssey Jones
down. So
like I know that I write Briggs and Jensen every week, even though I never watch their segments.
Right.
But I know that they're there. Odyssey Jones, I can't even picture his face. Like when I picture him, I picture Viscera. I mean, basically.
If I didn't see his face,
he's not that big.
If I didn't see his face recently, I would have a hard time picturing his face. Your boys Pretty Deadly get called up. They're on SmackDown. I think this is another reason why I think at some point KO and Sammy just need to, in kayfabe style, I would just have them drop the SmackDown titles and then just do a tournament versus having it in a scenario where a Pretty Deadly or the Street Profits or somebody like that challenges for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships versus Unified Tag Team
Championships. Here's where I see Pretty Deadly. I see Pretty Deadly because I'm high on them.
I like them too.
They are very talented. They can be funny when they need to be, and they can be mean when they need to be, which is my favorite type of heel. I would love to see them in a 3-man faction with a heel Seth Rollins. Like, that would be cool to me. Like, them two flanking Rollins as he comes out. All three of them very flamboyant, very goofy.
Yeah.
You can't have him join Rollins now because Rollins is a face.
Yeah, he's way too over as a baby face now.
And they can't be faces right off the bat.
No.
Not with those shirts.
No. Not at all. You're going to get made fun of.
Hit Row got drafted, which is... good for them. Shotzi was drafted on television. It's like, I can't I forget that she exists. No offense, Shotzi.
Shotzi, Boogs, Pretty Deadly, Cameron Grimes,
and then the last pick, Mr. Irrelevant.
Who is Mr. Irrelevant this year?
Grayson Waller.
I did see that. I was kind of like, okay.
He's got the most upside of any singles wrestler that I just named going to the main roster.
Grayson Waller on SmackDown, I think, is really good because you can give him his own segment at some point. Miz is on Raw, so obviously you have Miz TV. What's Grayson Waller's segment called? The Grayson Waller Effect, or some shit like that?
The Grayson Waller Effect.
Okay,
yeah.
There you go. That'll be your talking segment on SmackDown. Not even to mention the fact that just the physical talent of Grayson Waller alone, I think could get him easily a mid-card title reign at some point in the next year, and I'm talking year from May to May. At that point, I can see it happening. But I do like Grayson Waller coming up. I thought it was time for him to come up in NXT. He probably wasn't going to be the champion, but I thought he outgrew the NXT brand, if that makes sense.
I agree. I mean, to me, he screams main roster.
Yeah.
He has it all.
He's Logan Paul, but just more full-time.
Yeah, and we're not going to do a count on NXT or whatever, but I kind of like leaving Braun Breaker down there. Like, let him have his babyface run, which they definitely did. They definitely let him have it for a long time. Now he's doing his heel thing, and he seems to be enjoying himself. They did a double turn, basically, with Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, and I like seeing Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes as a babyface also. So let those guys cook a little bit down there. Let them.
As much as I would love to see either or, Braun obviously been the one that was the most likely to come up. I don't have a problem with them waiting on either one because both of those guys are going to be the future of WWE main roster 10 years from now.
Tough question, impossible to answer, and we'll never remember that I asked you it. Which one is more likely to show up in the 2024 Royal Rumble? I mean, honestly,
it's probably Braun. I mean,
it's probably Braun, but I could see it being Carmelo.
I can see both of them at that point.
Yeah,
they're
good. Both of them are good.
Both of them are going to be on the main roster in 2024. If you forced me to pick one or the other, I would still pick Braun, and that's not a knock against Carmelo Hayes. I just think that Braun Breaker feels like the one they would pick first.
It's pedigree. There's that too.
It's 1 and 1A.
Yeah.
Carmelo Hayes, is nothing wrong with being 1A in this scenario because I think, especially now when you have a second title, you can have them both come up. You can maybe tease a unification match between the two. Them being on NXT isn't the worst thing in the world. It's probably going to do them really good in the long run because a year from now you'll have, in theory, some guys gone. And then you can have Braun and Carmelo come in and slide in, take those spots, and build them up from there. So, yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all.
All right, so I know it's your count,
no,
but
it's our podcast.
That's right, baby. But I'm gonna throw out. We're not gonna go through both Raw and SmackDown, but I'm gonna throw out some shit, and you just give me your thoughts on it. LA Knight goes over Butch, clean. In about 8 or 9 minutes. What does this say about either one of them?
I don't think it says anything about Butch, but I think quietly it might reinforce a LA Knight Money in the Bank, at least run of some sort where he wins it and follows Roman Reigns around, follows the new world champion around. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, in this case, is Seth Rollins.
LA Knight's your early pick for Money in the Bank?
It makes a lot of fucking sense because, honestly, he's over with the crowd.
He'd be great with the briefcase.
With the briefcase and a mic in hand, I think that would be very, very entertaining. I don't think he would successfully cash in, and I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. He wouldn't be the first. He would just be, John Cena's in that list. So, I mean, you'd be in good company. But I think really and truly, if he won it, and that's my early pick, he would be really entertaining. Him and Roman Reigns, tete-a-tete, I think that would be fun. Him and Seth Rollins tete-a-tete, I think would be fun. So, yeah, I'll go with LA Knight as someone as a winner in the WWE Draft.
Karrion Kross attacks Shinsuke Nakamura backstage. Says TikTok to him, I think. I mean, I imagined it. So this happened on SmackDown, which was night one of the draft.
Right.
Nothing happened with. Nakamura ended up on Miz TV on Raw.
Right.
Karrion Kross got drafted to SmackDown. Nakamura got drafted to Raw.
Right.
Did they just mess up?
I think this is part of the. I don't think they messed it up. I just think that this is a filler match. This match is going to take place at Backlash. I think it's like a curtain. It's like the dark match or whatever you want to call it. It's not even on the main show. This is why I was saying to you, because a lot of things don't make sense. Like Bianca and Rhea both have title defenses at Backlash. I would assume both would retain. So then on Monday, Raw, next week, you have both Ronda. I'm thinking about the title switch, and I'm using Ronda. I'm thinking Charlotte and Ronda, and when it's really Bianca and Rhea. Ultimately, you're going to have a title switch like you did the last time, where Bianca has to cough up, basically, at same time, motherfucker, same time. So number one, hopefully
that went well.
Yeah, it doesn't go shit the bed like it did the first time. But secondly, I think
made for great pods.
You was pissed off about that. I think ultimately,
still kind of.
Yeah, everybody says I hold a grudge. I think it reinforces the fact that if you're going to do the draft every year, it needs to be at the same time, same place, so that way you can book this a little better. Because things like Nakamura and Cross wrestling, but then going to different brands shouldn't happen. Ronda, Bianca, and Rhea winning these titles, or Rhea just winning it recently, the SmackDown title at WrestleMania. Okay, that's great, but now you're going to have to hand the title over to Bianca in a title switch. I get it. Maybe down the line this is going to be a WrestleMania title match, so you can, play into that a little more. But, I mean, ultimately the theory is stupid. You shouldn't have to get to this point to now all of a sudden scramble. This should have been thought out weeks, months ahead of time, to where now if you were going to do the draft, this is how we're going to do this is how we're going to do that. And figure it out to where it makes much more logical sense. This felt like a Vince McMahon WWE draft and not a Triple H WWE draft.
This podcast is not going to be rated very high by our dozens of fans. Because I'm just agreeing with you.
Give it time. I was going to say, how it works.
So, yeah, I agree with pretty much everything that you said. The OC comes out. Whew, I felt bad for the Viking Raiders here. They were just out there to take a bunch of shit from the OC. AJ Styles comes up. He says, with his mom haircut. And he sits on the turnbuckle and he says, OC, do your thing. And the OC beats up the Viking Raiders, and AJ gives one of them the phenomenal forearm and says, we're just getting started. So, where are you at with the OC?
OC is going to SmackDown. Once again, another reason to break up the tag team titles if you really want to try to get some sort of...
Let me ask you something a little bit more specific. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Are you excited to have AJ Styles back?
AJ Styles is one of the best wrestlers in the world, so you should always be excited about that. A potential Roman Reigns AJ Styles match on the is something else to be excited about. Good brothers are who they are. Mia Yim is who she is, and unfortunately, that's not the best thing in the world for this scenario, because I think she could be doing so much more. Ultimately, yes, I'm excited for AJ to be back. I'm not necessarily excited for the OC to be back, if that makes sense.
That does make sense. That pretty much echoes exactly what I was thinking, because I just think AJ needs a shakeup. Because, like you said, he is one of the best wrestlers in the world. When he's allowed to cut loose, homeboy cooks.
Yeah, and in this scenario, I think it'd be a scenario. It would be a good time to at least have AJ go on a little run, get him some wins, and the sad part about it is Roman is running out of title contenders. AJ is a legitimate title contender. You can build him up and have him wrestle Roman at some point in 2023.
Is there any chance that AJ takes the belt off of Roman, or is he just fodder?
I think he's just fodder. Cody Rhodes obviously on Raw, but I don't think that matters somehow, some way. I think Cody Rhodes navigates the Raw roster, and then you get back to a scenario where you can get him across through Roman and do it again.
Thank fucking God that we have AEW and NJPW, because I have the feeling that they're going to let Roman carry this belt until next year's WrestleMania. And that is good. That I'm already, so that's a great segue by me. Bounce pass to myself, laying it in myself.
Say, all right, Tracy McGrady.
That's a great segue into what was the final, or what the main event was, which was Sami Zayn and KO versus the Usos, which ended in another schmoz. They are getting lazy with these endings, guys. You guys, God, give me something else. Oh.
What?
Hold on a second, everybody.
Live from the track meet.
And out there in Portland, Oregon, we have the Human Calendar, Zach Pullman. What's going on, Human Calendar?
Jeff wants to announce.
I am 100% at a track meet. Middle school track meet. Everybody say go Dexter. Pulled up, got to see him do the long jump. And if you've ever been to a track meet, there's a whole lot of standing around. And I was like, why don't I just stand around and do the podcast?
Yeah, there we go. Are you away from people so that you don't have to have a restraining order to be 500 feet away from schools in case you could drop a couple cum jokes?
Well, don't tell anybody, but I shouldn't be here already. But I am also away from people.
All right, man. Well, we already went through the draft and we went through the NXT call-ups, and now we're just going over some general stuff. So what we were just saying was the main event from SmackDown with Sami Zayn and KO versus the Usos, and then Solo and Riddle come out with Heyman saying tonight's your night to to Solo, I'm sorry, and then Riddle kind of spoiled that plan. I said they're kind of getting lazy with these Usos, Sami Zayn, KO finishes. What say you?
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, this was definitely hyped as a rematch, a WrestleMania main event rematch. And the match itself was pretty good, but it just kind of fell flat. I would agree. They're stretching this thing out, and I think it's reached its zenith, and everybody needs to move on at this point.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I mean, you see the looks that KO and Sami are giving to each other. It's like, nah, it doesn't feel like they're moving on from this.
I think it at least goes to SummerSlam. At some point, you have to have...
Goes to SummerSlam?
At some point, you have to have Solo turn on his own blood. It's not going to happen at Backlash. Not going to happen at Saudi. Probably not going to happen in London. SummerSlam is the next big show. August feels like it's far away, but it ain't that far away.
Man, death is coming, isn't it? For all of us.
I can see that moving slower with the Solo, the bloodline, that turn. But I just feel like, those belts have been on the Usos for so long. Just have like KO and Sami just wrestling dudes and start new programs. Like, it's fine to take this up to Backlash or whatever, as far as a rematch. And they just rematched them. They just rematched them on a SmackDown. So like, just be done with it and let's freshen up the tag team scene. I know they don't give a shit about tag teams, but that's my soapbox moment.
Right. So we got all our pre-stuff out of the way. You guys ready to start the podcast?
Yeah, right. Oh, shit.
Zach just knows something? I think he knows. He knows
I'm
so the
muted.
fuck out
I'm
of me.
just muted. I'm muted.
He's watching the triple jump.
Right.
He's watching.
Is that what they call it on the stage nowadays?
He's watching some 12-year-old throw a shot put 22 feet.
That is accurate as hell. I'm right next to the shot put.
All right, so Vice and I were texting each other last night about how great the opening segment was on Raw after they got past the draft part between Heyman and Seth Rollins. It's unbelievable how over Seth Rollins is with this character. I might have said the exact same thing last week, and if I did, I apologize. But, man, it is unbelievable how over he is as a babyface. And then Solo comes out. So what do you think about that, Zach?
I did not get to watch all of these. Actually, I had them on, but I was working while I had them on. So, full disclosure, you'll have to skip me on this one.
Jason.
I like the fact that Seth is, at least they booked him to keep reminding people that he's the last person to beat Roman Reigns, obviously via DQ at Royal Rumble. As much as I'm not a Baron Corbin fan, I've always said that he should have been booked to be saying he was the last guy to pin Roman Reigns, but neither here nor there. It sets up a couple of different scenarios. If Cody can beat Roman Reigns, you can do Cody and Seth and tease a unification match there. You could do Seth versus Roman, tease a unification match there. So, I mean, to me, Seth Rollins is going to be the guy that is going to be very, very interesting to watch in 2023. At some point, I expect him to be the champion on the Raw side, and then how long he holds it will be a nice, interesting scenario. Drew McIntyre, somebody I think that should have been a champion with fans around. I think him going on the Raw side, big winner. We're going to call winners and losers because I think he'll have a chance to at least be a champion in front of fans. Whether he's a babyface or not, that will be determined. But, this was a good segment because it took a lot of things. One of our biggest problems with WWE is that they treat us like idiots, and it's like the past never happened. This time they were cognizant of the fact to bring the past back and played it into present time.
You know how you always call me the quarterback of the show?
Yep.
Sometimes quarterbacks got to call an audible. And while we have Two Beer Zach Pullman on the phone, we're going to use Two Beer Zach Pullman on the phone. So let's get to that 2 count.
1, 2, 3.
I mean, we talked enough main roster shit as
we're
it is.
good. Yep.
So, Two Beer, I know that you're not at home. I know that you're out and about. What's the 2 count? If you need some prompting from me, I'm happy to do it.
Let's go with Don Taku, just because I'm gonna skip. I'm gonna share it up, and I only watched past the Dynamite.
Okay,
So,
all right, that's fine.
I watched all of Don Taku, and actually there wasn't a road to Don Taku. It was a Satsumi no Koji or something along those lines. Taichi versus Shingo. Did you guys see this match?
Yeah, I was about to say I watched the whole.
Oh,
smack.
actually, I'm sorry. Real quick, unbelievably, like while I'm on here, 'cause who knows, my time might be limited. They sold 50,000 tickets to Wembley Stadium for AEW. I got to talk about that real quick.
They sold.
We didn't talk about this.
50,000.
50,000, and that's
Is that
the
pre-sale,
pre-sale.
or did they actually start selling tickets? I knew that it was going to be this week.
General sale starts tomorrow.
Okay.
Not saying that they're going to sell it out or anything, but I feel like a lot of people that want to go to the show probably got their hands on a pre-sale code.
What's the date on that?
The 27th of August, I think. Sounds right?
Yeah,
Feels right?
the week before Labor Day weekend, because it's the week before All Out.
Yeah, because they're going to do the Wembley show and All Out 1 week, the 27th, and then the Labor Day weekend they'll do
So they have a lot of time to sell another 40,000 tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they haven't even announced a single match or a single person that's going to be on the card.
No.
Time to announce Goldberg.
Easy, Bischoff.
Bill Goldberg is all elite.
I could see that maybe for that show. I think they
I will
probably
boycott
do.
that match so quick.
They're going to be standing outside Joey's house like smoking cigarettes.
Is that my show over yet, man? Damn.
Still can't believe you did that.
Hey, Principles, baby.
All right. Go ahead, Zach. I really
Anyway,
thought you were going to do Dynamite, and you do Donhaku. Okay. All right. Hey,
Okay,
it's your count, dude.
We can do that since we're already on the team. So sorry to switch it up on everybody, but
No problem.
yeah. I mean, what do you guys? I mean, that's massive. That's an amazing success. Like 50,000. Just even if it was August 26th and they had sold 50,000 tickets is amazing. The fact that they sold that many this early. I mean, that's going to establish AEW as like a global brand. That's awesome.
It's legit astounding to me.
No, I wouldn't say. We said roughly to guess 90 is capacity. We said if they did 60, that would be a success.
Is Wembley Stadium? How much of the draw is Wembley Stadium here? I'm not the biggest soccer guy. Like, is it because it's at Wembley Stadium?
Wembley Stadium is a big deal.
Is it? Would it be the same thing? Like, it's probably the best example, but if they were like, "Hey, we're doing Dynamite at Fenway or something."
So it's the second largest stadium. It's the second largest open air stadium in the entire world.
Next to the Big House, next to Rocky Top. I mean, it's not.
I don't know.
It's not as big as those, right?
Those are over 100,000 apiece.
For a football game, not even for wrestling.
Okay, let's go like this. Let's go like this. No, let's go like this. And I heard it on a podcast, and it made sense to me, and I was just like, oh, so I'll try to equate it here. This is AEW's WrestleMania 3 from the Silver Dome, when you didn't think that they could sell 93,000.
You mean the Superdome, right, Hulk?
No, not at all.
Superdome.
Not at all. I was about to say, I know the difference because I remember where I was mad as fuck that Hulk Hogan was going to beat Andre the Giant.
Joey's. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about when Hogan said Silverdome instead of Superdome.
that I remember. I was like, what the fuck did he just say?
We're at Joey's place on Cleveland. Yeah.
But I think this is the same scenario. It's very equivalent to it. AEW, as much as it feels like it's been around, and it hasn't been around. At least it feels it's been around for the length of the podcast. It hasn't really been around. They are looking for the next crowning moment. The original All In sets the table. AEW being crowned or being, formed as a promotion, there's the next step. So now we're waiting for the next step. This is it. If they can sell, if they do 90,000, which is almost kind of realistically possible at this point. If 50 is a real number and it's a legit number, obviously that's
3.5 months
home.
away.
Right.
Yeah,
70, 80 feels very realistic at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like especially once they announce CM Punk, because that's why it happened. I know we're not talking about that even this week. Don't want to do it, but
Too
that'll
late,
put
you
some
did
butts
it.
in the seats.
Okay. All right, we got to figure out a penalty for every week we say his
it doesn't
name.
have to be a penalty. It's just let's we're on the honor system. If he needs to be brought up, we'll bring him up. If shit happens, shit happens. I'm sick of this giving this guy all the fucking attention. Go ahead, Zach.
Yeah. I mean, PK tweeted out 50. We knew that they had 36 in like the first couple hours. I know you correct myself. I just looked it up. It's the second largest stadium in Europe. That makes a lot more sense. But yeah, I mean, it's also now it's going to be the most well attended, like in London, history outside of the SummerSlam for 1992, and they're probably going to break the gate for SummerSlam because of inflation and stuff. But just absolutely monumental. And I mean, this is not a T-shirt company. It's not a pissant company. WWE is even more popular than AEW is in Europe, and it just goes to show like you do something cool, you go big or you go home, and they went big. So
yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
I respect the shit out of it. I can't wait to see what the main event is.
I don't think it should be pushed aside that they're doing Wembley the same way that WWE is doing Wembley. Same stadium, obviously, decades in between, but nonetheless, if you can have something else over WWE whenever you have the opportunity to do so, then by all means, I say that's when you get the chance to do it. Like you said, the biggest. Let's just go with the assumption that 50K is a real number. It's a legit number. That's crazy when you haven't even announced a match yet. That's the wildest part to me.
It's a general sale, and they haven't even announced the match. Or it's a pre-sale, and they haven't announced the match.
Right. That to me is a great indication of what AEW can do on a global scale whenever they want to try to start doing that, and the fact that it's a brand that people know. So for the WWE shows, like, AEW's going to fold, next year, the year after. No, it's not going to fold. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. So it's time to get off that soapbox. Let's move the goalpost back a little more and figure out the next thing that you can try to run down AEW about. A part of me wants them
these guys
to
are going
try
to be
to
like, I'm sorry, all the Vincels are going to be like, oh, they didn't fill the stadium. Even if there's 90,000, there's like 92,000.
Right.
Like, oh, they did not fill the stadium.
I was getting ready to say,
loss.
Look, they didn't fill SoFi at WrestleMania on either night, but I thought those crowds were hot, and it was a good fucking, environment to be in, and it was a good atmosphere to watch from afar. At this point, it was already must-see TV to begin with, number one. Now you're telling me that they're halfway home to 90,000, and then number three, they haven't announced a fucking match yet? Man, give me a motherfucking break.
So, you know how you say that...
Just imagine...
Go ahead. No, go ahead, please.
I was going to say, just imagine the Adam Cole baby of a minimum of 50,000 people.
Right.
Or the, Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah,
Because that those guys...
A lot of guys
Osprey,
are going
to
be
on the start.
Oh, my God. Just keep me alive until August, God, please. August 27th.
You said main event, Bill. What do you think? If you were doing it, what would you make the main event?
Sting versus MJF, career versus title.
Oh, man, that's good.
God damn, you ain't shit.
That's real good.
I wish I would have made that up. I didn't make it up. I saw that, but I was like, that's pretty fucking good.
I was about to say, it's Jeff Jarrett versus 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 Jeff Jarrett.
Oh, I would do that too.
I'm like, who made this goddamn poster? Is this a fucking joke or what?
What would you do, Zach?
Omega Osprey for the either.
Hang on now.
You've got the what do you call it?
They have the Dominion match in I guess that's what, June 12th. That's Dominion. So kind of remember that as you're going to make the main event.
I guess you're gonna have to have the main event be for your AEW title, Bill, because that's what Tony does. I feel like you got to do Omega Osprey on that card. Like I said before, I'd have Osprey lose at Dominion and then have him win it in front of 50,000 plus people in the UK. I think that would be amazing. But yeah, man, I feel like it's probably going to be, MJF's probably going to have the title. I know you could probably switch it up at that point. I don't. Or you do.
You cannot have MJF main event Wembley Stadium. I'm sorry, just not yet. It's just not. It just doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I don't have a problem with him as champion, and that match with Danielson was phenomenal.
Transcendent.
But, I do think, I feel like Omega's the guy to headline this thing, and I feel like Osprey is his best sparring partner unless you do another Omega Okada. It's for me in my head, it's something with a New Japan guy or Punk versus MJF. I think you could do it with MJF and Punk.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still so sour on him that like, I know what you're saying. It just doesn't appeal to me, and I can't get rah-rah about it right now, but I do hear what you're saying. It is box office stuff. as I was.
He's our biggest star.
Yep.
That's why he's not fired yet. That's why he's not going to be fired, because he's their biggest star. So I don't know. Anyway, it's fun to think about. We also got the Forbidden Door and stuff, and that's where we're kind of getting into the weeds. Because I'm just like, it's like
that's where
a lot of
I
these
think you
matches
could
that
do.
I want to see.
That's where I think you could do. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just saying, a lot of the matches I want to see at Wembley, I want to see at Forbidden Door like a month beforehand, like Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. Would you rather see that at Forbidden Door in like Chicago, or would you rather see like I said, like 60,000 people saying, "Oh, Zack Sabre Jr." and like while Bryan Danielson beats the shit out of him?
Right. Yeah, I'd rather see Danielson versus Sabre Jr. in Chicago, right?
Actually, it's in
Really?
Toronto, but
Yeah.
neither here nor there.
I mean,
Oh,
think the
because you
point
guys
still
are so
stands.
close to Chicago.
no. I'm saying I'd rather see it in an indoor stadium where it's louder and a little bit crazier.
I see. Or you could just do it twice, make it 50-50 it. Or the SJ wins both times.
Yeah, that would be fun too. What's real fun is that I was quarterbacking, and I threw it to Zach thinking he was going to do AEW Dynamite, and he decided to do Don Taku, and then we decided to do 20 minutes on Wembley Stadium instead.
It's still AEW.
It just shows like I'm a quarterback. I'm just like Tony Banks, just throwing
what
picks.
you did is you threw me a lateral, and then I just ran around in the backfield for 20 minutes and got myself out of breath. And now I'm going to get over the scrimmage line to the goal field. Start with the.
Okay, stop.
I
love you.
Are those all the right? Are those all the right words?
You were good all the way up until like the last 30 seconds. Probably like 15. You were doing so well though. No, I think it's a legitimate. We were talking about it, the 50,000 tickets, and I think it's a legitimate discussion to have because, like I said, to me, this makes AEW even more so of a viable, legitimate promotion that is going to be around for the next 3 to 5 years, probably longer than that. So in that scenario, I think it's legitimate to talk about. And at that point, yeah, I was going to say I was surprised that you even watched New Japan. To both of you guys, especially you over here with the way your calendar's set up. Give me a fucking break. There's no way in hell I expected you to be watching a New Japan show last night.
Oh, it was great fun. It was a really good show.
Okay, so we're talking AEW. I'm assuming that, yeah.
It's it's Zach's count. I pitch it to him.
All right, I'll move on with the Dynamite because I saw most of it, but it wasn't like a huge. I don't know. We can kind of breeze probably through it. Open up, 8-man, Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Bandito, and Orange Cassidy against Jericho Appreciation Society. Really, pretty fun match, pretty fun opener, but I think the main thing was just furthering this Jericho storyline, who came out to do commentary in the very polarizing Britt Baker black eye t-shirt.
No shit.
Pretty good. Bandito looked really good in this match. Did a lot of his power moves. It was very fun. And and then after the match, they did a big old, brawl with Cole and Jericho, and that even went on to later on. And Britt Baker got in Jericho's face. I think she called him Bitch Jericho, and slapped him in the face. So anyway, not a lot to say. Just further in this feud. You guys' thoughts?
I want to hear your thoughts on the shirt because I just learned about this about an hour before we started taping.
Well, it was the best-selling shirt of the week. So I think that just answers the question of the merits of it. I think it's ridiculous for people to be offended by, or for people to have kind of false pearl grasping.
Tell the people what the shirt was, and tell the people what the controversy was, please.
It is a picture of Britt Baker's face,
and say
she has a black eye.
Say it super loud so all the other parents can hear you.
No! Don't you do that! Don't you do that!
Yeah. So, picture of Britt Baker's face. She's got a black eye, and that is the extent of the picture. It's black T-shirt, and I guess people were getting upset because it supports or encourages domestic violence. And Britt fired back on Twitter and said, if this was a shirt with a man's face, like, nobody'd be batting an eye, which they wouldn't. So total double standards. Double standards exist in our society, unfortunately. But I don't know.
True.
A lot of people were up in arms about it. A lot of people were, didn't give a shit. A lot of people liked it. I don't have any strong feelings about it. I think it's crazy to get mad about something like that. Don't buy the shirt. I wouldn't want to wear the shirt just because, I don't know, wrestling shirts in general, not a lot of them, like some of them are cool and some of them are just embarrassing. I just wouldn't wear that shirt. I don't really care about it.
The wrestling shirts that I wear the most are my New Japan shirt, which is just the standard New Japan logo, because if you don't know, you don't know, but if you know, you fucking know. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And the other
that's perfect.
The other wrestling shirt that I wear the most is just the Ciampa one, the Blackheart one. It's same thing. It's got nothing on the back. Doesn't say WWE. Doesn't say NXT on it. It's just
that Ciampa. Ciampa in general.
It's just got that Ciampa black and yellow flag, and it's got the black heart where the stars where the stars would be, like on the
US flag.
U.S. flag. Sorry, I just did a bunch of sneezing. Yeah, I didn't know about that controversy. That seems like a non-issue to me. It just seems like something that, if you're really tuned into Twitter, it's a real big deal. And if you talk to somebody else outside of Twitter, they'd be like, what?
Right.
I don't fucking know. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, Renee Paquette interviewed Jungle Boy and Darby Allin about the main event. So basically the premise of the main event is those two face Sammy Guevara and MJF, and if they win, it's a 4-way, and if Sammy and MJF win, it's a singles match. Blackpool Combat Club got a great promo, or Danielson and Moxley did.
Oh my God!
Dude,
So
Danielson's the top
great.
heel. Danielson's the top heel, and then he cut a top babyface promo, and then Moxley cut a promo that was like basically tweeting. Maybe it was just because I liked it so much that I didn't necessarily think it was heel, but just phenomenal. You want to go in about what they were saying?
I loved this so much. Before we get to this, can we just double back for a second? I think, and I know I've said this in the last couple of weeks, I think that Darby Allin, with a little bit more edge, talking shit to Jungle Boy, I think he's really coming into his own. For this podcaster, I'm starting to like him quite a bit more now. Quite a bit.
I think hell has dropped a couple degrees.
I am liking the dynamic between him and Jungle Boy as two baby faces that don't like each other. That I don't want to speed ahead too far, but we talked last week about how they were going to, of course, Darby and Jack Perry were going to win, and it was predictable. And like I always say, predictable is not always bad. You just got to tell the story right. This story's been told right, and by the end of that match, they did a really good job painting it as, hey, every man for himself, which I appreciate. So I just wanted to double back on that real fast. We can have more to say about it. But this Blackpool Combat Club promo, I got to point it out to you guys. I got to ask you guys. I'm going to put you on the spot. Bryan Danielson said last night that he is a better wrestler than Bret Hart. Is he correct?
What's your what's the measure?
Criteria,
like,
I'm not.
Complete, or you talking about technical wrestling?
I'm not giving you one. Answer the fucking question.
Jesus.
So a complete wrestler then?
I'm not giving you one.
Jesus, this dude here. Okay. You want to go first, 2 beer or 3 beer? You want me to
go? Either way, I'll just give you a short answer and just say yes.
I think that before we get too far into Zach's answer, I think that Zach's nickname right now is just 2 beer. I mean 3 beer. That's his whole nickname. Is 2 beer. I mean 3 beer. because every time we say it, we're like, hey, 2 beer. I mean, 3 beer. Jason, what do you think?
I'll answer the question. You're gonna put me on the spot. I'll answer the question.
I mean, Zach just answered the question.
Yeah.
I think you know my answer.
That fence post up your ass kind of hurts, I'm sure.
I think you know my answer.
I know you do. I'm gonna agree with you. Bryan Danielson on the back end, and I do remember him on the ROH side, and I think that's something that you're gonna have to give Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, whatever you want to call him, the nod. He was the man in ROH before ROH was even a thing. You know, him, Samoa Joe, AJ, plenty of other guys helped put this Joker on the map. Bret Hart was good. He was a tag team guy. It's the way that I would want to build somebody up if it was personally me. But Bryan Danielson was doing things before Bret Hart was even a thought process. I'm going Bryan Danielson.
You mean that? Okay, so the truest thing that Bryan Danielson said during that promo was like, there's going to be better wrestlers than me coming after this. The point being that Bryan Danielson couldn't be as good of a wrestler as he is if Bret Hart never existed. Real heels speak the truth. And that's the truth. This is the thing that I always get wrong whenever I try to say it. I try to say how many degrees Tony Hawk flipped around, and Zach always corrects me. Was it 1,400?
It was 900.
A 1,400 is like, woo, 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 woo.
But it's like
He's
once
never coming down.
somebody does something, then the other people are like, well, fuck, I can try to do that too. You know, that's you know, for lack of being cheesy, that's kind of the human spirit. It's like you can always get better.
That's why I went from the top rope body splash to the moonsault to the 450, and now you got crazy people like Vikingo doing springboard bottom rope 630. So who knows what's going to happen in a few years?
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Right, but it is. I mean, Danielson was right. I think that if you gave him sodium pentothal, he'd be like, I'm sure Danielson has nothing but mad respect for Bret Hart. It's a fun heel promo, though, but it's probably also something that he kind of believes, you know? And then Moxley's promo about,
Lord have mercy.
you know, what was it? Steel or sharpening the blade or whatever it was.
Iron sharpens iron. It basically was the.
Thank you. Completely badass. And then Claudio standing behind them, just staring ahead, just kind of like reacting to them, just kind of smiling every once in a while. And then that kid that gets their bags standing there.
Jaboy.
I forget his name.
Jaboy.
But, I mean, isn't it just like one of these things is not like the other, though?
No, I think
Wouldn't it make more sense if Daniel Garcia was standing there?
Honestly, no.
Yeah.
No. My
Yes.
knee-jerk reaction is no. I think Wheeler Yuta is perfect. He's the guy that you respect the least. And when he comes in and does some, you know, low blow bullshit, he's the guy that's getting the most heat. He's Dominic. He's the Dominic Mysterio of BCC. Nobody really likes him, but if you put him in the ring for 15 minutes and let him work, he can impress you. But in that little group, he's the least respected.
You know what?
He's the most swarmy of the bunch.
I'm not even going to react to that.
That's the truth.
Calling him the Dom Mysterio of
It's
that
the
group
truth.
is like so fucked. That is fucked. That's fucked,
Dom
Jason.
Mysterio got more heat than anybody on the WWE roster.
You watch.
Like,
No.
People
Watch,
still call Wheeler Yuta Wheeler Utah. And that person might just be me, but people still do it.
You watch. I'm telling you, Wheeler Yuta is going to be that guy that's going to be the low blow guy. The guy that's going to be, you know, the chop block to the knee guy. He is going to be
It would be better if it was Daniel Garcia.
I'm not disagreeing with that. That ship has sailed.
is he going to get pegged by Jade Cargill, calling mommy?
Jesus Christ. You're at a kids.
Thank you.
You're at a kids event. Talking about Jade Cargill, Pagan, Wheeler Yuta. I'd watch it. All right. Anyway, that was a tremendous promo. Just a tremendous promo.
It's what BCC should have been from the jump.
Bearing the lead, we get Moxley and Omega in a cage match next week.
And they gave them both time to promo it up. That match is going to be tits.
Yeah, it's with nothing on the line. It's going to be arguably a match of the year candidate. I have high expectations for that. In the steel cage, I expect some, schmozz at some point because both sides are going to get involved.
Dude, who knew that Don Callis could be such a effective babyface promo? His promo, Omega's was, so-so, and I think they did the right thing by Callis interrupting him and Callis doing his thing because Callis, he was next level there.
Don Callis can talk. It's just we've always seen him as the heel. When he
I love him as the heel too, though.
Obviously. But when he was like, here's 21, staples in my head, stitches in my head, or whatever, because
he's
whatever the case may be, I'm just like, you want to feel bad for him, but in the back of my head, I'm always thinking, what's next? And I'm waiting for Don Callis to do some shit to where I'm like, see, you ain't shit. The promo was great.
It was great.
Kenny was good. He's so mad that it's beyond. He's out of character for Kenny. So Kenny's real cool and calm. Don Callis is basically talking the most shit. Both sides did really well,
and everybody's so professional in this feud that they switched baby faces and heels pretty easily. Zach, what was next?
Next we had. Willow Nightingale and Saraya. No surprise here, another loss for Willow Nightingale. But the real story was the after the match twist where they're beating all the outsiders or the new whatever they call themselves, the modern incarnation of the Outcasts, are beating down Willow, and they end up. Kawashita comes out, looks like she's going to side with them, but then does the turn and sprays Saraya in the face with the paint, and Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker come out. So that's going to be the 6-person match at the pay-per-view. This is fine. I mean, we've seen this kind of angle before with Casey on their side. No, she isn't, but nothing really to talk about here, in my opinion.
My opinion also. I bet Jason has something to say. He's coming back right now. Jason, do you have any thoughts on Saraya versus Willow Nightingale and Hikaru Shida's big-time fake-out? I'll give you 30 seconds.
Got me on the fake-out. I was really thinking that Shida was going to side with the Outcast and then have Rio on the Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter side. Good fake-out. Got me. Obviously, this is going to be a 6-woman tag at Double or Nothing, but I mean, ultimately, it always comes back to me and the AEW Women's title at this point, and it's even though it has nothing to do with Britt Baker, if Britt Baker's in the mix, which is neither here nor there, but I don't know. It's like I said, the swerve got me. And I was already like tweeting, like, see, I told you motherfuckers that Shida was going to be with the Outcast, but, of course I had to quickly delete that. I guess my biggest problem is the focus is in the wrong place. It's about the Outcast versus the Britt Baker side, and I'm calling it the Britt Baker side, even though Jamie Hayter's the world champion. It is what it is. I really hate to see Jamie Hayter getting squandered, I'll use that word, as the AEW Women's Champion. Shida coming back feels more like a pawn versus something that is going to be more long-term. I thought if she was heel, you could at least put her and Jamie Hayter against each other, perhaps, do something with that, freshen Shida up a little bit, but it is what it is. We're here, so, hopefully we get a good 6-woman tag out of it and we go from there.
I think that was a solid 90 to 100 seconds. whenever Bill and I are both like, wait, I have nothing to say. Let's see if Jason has anything to say. Anyway, I'm just making fun of you.
I gave him 30 seconds.
You were in the corner. You were nowhere around taking snaps. So now the second string is in. So now I'm going to do what the fuck I want.
Here comes Charlie Batch.
But moving on, there was the House of Black come out, or rather, what's her name, Julia Hart, comes out and says they will do an open house challenge, so any 3 competitors can team up under house rules. This is a little confusing. It's like 20-second countouts, that's not confusing. No rope breaks, that's not confusing. DQs will be enforced. That is confusing, because when are they not, unless you say what they aren't. And that's where the confusing part comes in. And then they said something about house rules, like you can pick a rule. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
It's better for AEW in situations like this to do away with as many rules as possible, because none of the rules are enforced. So it makes a lot more sense just to be like, hey, guys, it's a free-for-all, and, just sit back and enjoy the show.
Yeah,
the Acclaimed are going to win. Hey guys, here's the rules. The Acclaimed are gonna win, and those are the rules. No rope breaks.
Yeah, and then the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn won a match, so that now we have Billy Gunn and the Acclaimed. Billy Gunn challenging for a very respectable World Trios title in 2023 on pay-per-view. Ahead of the Lucha Brothers and Vikingo, which is who I thought was a lock to win this match. Because honestly, if I'm shelling out $50 or something, it ain't to see the Acclaim versus the House of Black. Just to see those
guys. I missed it. Did he say Vikingo and the Lucha Brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's who I want to see.
Yeah. I don't know. This just felt like it was slapped together in some form or fashion. I just wish it had been a little more built to it. I don't have a problem with House of Black, having their own open challenge rules. It feels like the Freebird rules back in the day, so I'm good with that. This Battle Royal, it was just way too many people.
But having the Butcher and the Blade and the Acclaimed being the last teams, it's like...
what happens.
Yeah, that takes away all intrigue.
Yeah, for sure. I think ultimately this is going to be when you're in a plane or whatever, you can't land, they're circling the airport. FTR and the Acclaimed are what we want to see ultimately. We're just going to have to wait to see it. So the Acclaimed are going to have to go with Billy Gunn. If they win the Trios Championship, great, and another notch on their belt. Billy Gunn gets a notch on his belt. But ultimately, FTR...
What if this was Jeff Jarrett? It just seems, I don't know.
So
I just don't like it.
Once again, it's not a visual media. I was getting ready to get pissed.
This might be an unpopular opinion, but the Acclaimed, and I think I've honed in on my Acclaimed take, and I think the Acclaimed with the belts, to me, are big time. And the Acclaimed without the belts, they're just the Acclaimed again. I don't know. Like, I think the belts really helped them, and them not having the belts anymore just make them seem kind of mid-tier again. That's my personal opinion. Jason is furrowing his eyebrows, but that...
Disagree.
Okay. I mean, they're obviously a bigger deal now that they've held the belts, because we saw how big they could be.
They were a big deal before they had the belts.
It's just rough because at one time they were the hottest act in the company. Like
before
even before
they had the belts,
they were the hottest act in the company, and they just aren't anymore. And that's tough.
And that's
on
a
TK. Tough thing to be.
I
don't know. I don't necessarily think. I think it's on them too.
No.
I don't
Ricky
think it's
Starks, the Acclaimed, Wardlow, all guys that were hot.
Jason? Do you enjoy it when I go against Zach and I agree with you, or would you rather be the lone man? Would you rather be the lone man?
I'm usually the lone man on the
screaming
on the
in the
corner. Get off my goddamn lawn! I'm usually the lone man, and that's okay. I just for me, I'm sorry. the track record of guys that have been high and then TK has took them off the burner is pretty bad. Wardlow is at the top of the list, and we all agree with that.
Yeah, that
Ricky Starks is somebody that I personally think should be.
Kind of happens with every promotion, though.
Okay, Wardlow shouldn't be happening with any promotion. Number one, but
like Rusev Day, like Damien Mizdow, shit like that. Like, okay, it happens. Fandango.
That's WWE. This is.
I said any promotion.
Okay, fair enough. I'll move along. Ricky Starks is somebody that beat Chris Jericho, and now you have him in a Juice Robinson, Jay White, scrum or whatever. And I think we all agree that Jay White's a little bigger than this, but he's in that mix to begin with. Who else? I was just saying that somebody else. Willow Nightingale. We'll just talk on the women's side. She is a major one push away from being the next women's star that's not named Britt Baker. TK has a serious problem with making guys hot, and then when it's good, he takes them off the burner. That makes absolutely no sense. If you're going to push somebody, push them and then keep pushing them, or don't push them at all.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. I just, I don't know, they claim they're very hot. Their act's a little shallow. They're good wrestlers, especially Bowen. It's a house show act, really. Now, in my opinion, that's just all I'm saying. Even though I really like the guys involved.
Wow,
they're there to pop crowds.
I don't even disagree with it.
Wow.
Okay. What's next?
Let's see. This is getting to the end of where I saw.
So we had Sammy Guevara and MJF backstage where they're kissing each other's heads. It seemed a little forced to me. We talked about Omega and Don Callis. The Wardlow squash. So Wardlow squashes a jobber and then grabs the mic and says, "I'm not done. Christian Cage, come on out." So Christian Cage, come out with your monsters, what he says. He comes out with Luchasaurus. Christian Cage says, the title shot's not for him, the title shot's for me. Which, kayfabe style, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But as a fan and as a Christian mark, I was like, thank God. I'd rather see Christian versus Wardlow. That doesn't mean that we're not going to get Wardlow Luchasaurus someday, but I would rather see a double or nothing Christian versus Wardlow, and Christian put Wardlow over. Jason, what say you?
It just reinforces what I said beforehand. If you didn't take the title off of Wardlow, you kept him hot, you wouldn't have to do this all over again. I mean, the match should be fine. I agree with you. Wardlow should go over. I agree with you again. You probably get Luchasaurus on the back
end. Keep agreeing
end.
with me. I like it.
Trust me, it never lasts long. You know that.
How many power bombs are going to take before Christian separates the shoulder and he's out for 9 months? And that power bomb.
One.
Okay.
Motherfucker's 50.
Wardlow should be past this. It is what it is.
Should be past Christian? I don't know. Christian's
yes, he should be past this. Okay.
Well, yeah, I know. But we can't go back in time, Jason. We have to move forward.
Okay, well, at this point, yawn. Wake me until we get somebody that's going to actually threaten Wardlow for the title.
All right, fine. Fair enough. Yawn is a better thing than saying, well, this is what I said a long time ago. What do you have to say, Zach?
I think it's a better match for the pay-per-view.
Okay, as long as you acknowledge it.
Say it again.
I think it's a better match for the pay-per-view for sure.
Nice. Okay, we're back on the same page. Me and Zach are back on the same page. God, that feels good. How old did I say Christian Cage was? I say he's 50. He's 49. He'll be 50 this year in November. Not either one of our birthdays, but November 30th. So coming up next, we had Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, and what's his name? Sanjay Dutt. They went to Sandy Fork, Delaware, to visit Mark Briscoe, which ended up being the entire sketch wasn't funny. It was pretty funny. But Mark Briscoe's performance when they knocked on the door and he answered the door with his baby and Sanjay Dutt goes, "What a cute little girl." And he goes, "Boy!" That made me laugh. His delivery of "boy" was so fucking funny to me. You had Daddy Briscoe make his way into the show too. Said, "Watch out for those two weirdos wearing overalls." And he said, "Which one?" He said, "Both of them," because Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh were both wearing overalls. I'm sorry, this was sports entertainment at its best. This was funny. Jason,
Yeah,
he's always funny too, right?
I would be remiss if I didn't think it was funny. The overall comment was funny. It's a mismatch.
Cute little girl, boy,
right? And I don't have kids, but if I did, I would have the same reaction. That
Edna
Mark
May
Briscoe
gets
did.
called a boy all the time, because we don't. If we're at Aldi, she's not wearing a dress, and it's not like she has long hair.
Right.
So she gets called a boy, and I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I don't care. She's non-sexual. She's a fucking 20-month-old.
Right.
So it doesn't matter. A lot of people get pissed off about it, though.
No, ultimately, as much as I don't like Jeff Jarrett, this was a good enough use for Jeff Jarrett and company. They get another title shot against FTR at Double or Nothing, which... I guess, whatever. You guys beat the singles, whatever.
Jason,
just get it over with, please.
I'm sorry, Zach. When was the last time you were mistaken for a girl?
Let's see. Today is Thursday, so probably about 23 years ago.
We celebrated
I used
all
to have
here on the
long
Band
hair.
from Ringside
And I used to be
podcast.
skinny.
This is Band from Ringside.
We celebrated all here, baby. I know you didn't watch this. This is worth going back and watching on YouTube, though, Zach. You will laugh. We had Ricky Starks versus Juice Robinson. Ricky Starks goes over. Jay White comes in, fucks up Ricky Starks. This is not the way I envisioned Jay White coming into AEW, but alas, life is pain, and you don't always get what you want. Any thoughts on this, Jason?
On both sides. Didn't think where Ricky Starks would be feuding with Juice. Didn't think... Well, actually, I said it. I don't want Jay going straight to the top. So, in this scenario, a feud before he gets to the top of the card is okay. It shouldn't be with Ricky Starks at this point. It's the embarrassment of riches, but now you just don't know how to work all of these great fucking toys. You got to figure out how you can work them together, and that's the biggest problem with AEW.
Zach, any thoughts? I know you didn't see it.
No, it does. I don't know. I don't know what I would have them do, but it does seem like, I don't know. This program, I don't like any of these people in this program. I don't like them doing these things. I like all the people that are in it. I just don't like them doing what they're doing.
Next up, they had the advertisement, the vignette for the firm deletion match, which is basically going to be the deletion match. I forget what they called it when it was in TNA the first time at the Hardy compound, which is a cinematic match that is probably going to be pretty goofy. I'm guessing. What was the name of the drone? It was called. God
damn. Yeah.
Something. It was called something one, like
GR1 or something. No.
Copter One or something. Anyway.
Yeah.
I will watch it. They're going to put it on Rampage, and I think that's a terrible idea because if they put it on Rampage, and Rampage is coming on early this week, TNT at 4:30 in the afternoon because of basketball games.
4:30 or 5, depending.
And people are watching that. They're going to be like, "What the fuck am I watching?" That's advanced wrestling stuff. You have to fucking love wrestling more than I do to enjoy that at 4:30 in the afternoon. I think that's a bad idea, but
No, No, it is what it is.
I'm also not a billionaire. I'm not a self-made billionaire by like Tony Khan. Wait, he didn't make his own money? Oh.
No, I think that
my bad.
this
Sorry.
this is part of they did it last year. They're doing it this year. I think this is part of the what's going to happen long term. You know, when you start doing big business and you know you have to acquiesce to Warner Brothers or whoever it is. You can't do dark. You can't do elevation. You got these 3 shows. You got to do it like this.
Well, I bet it's gonna suck.
I'm willing to watch it. I'm willing to watch.
The only way it'll be cool is if like the drone, like if Jeff Hardy's like gone for like 30 minutes and they can't find Jeff Hardy, and then they find him like behind a shed, like just pounding fireball shots.
Stop! You ain't shit, dude. God damn. You ain't hit no weed yet, man. What the fuck's wrong with you? I mean, damn. So, where's Jeff at? Where's Jeff? Jeff's in the corner like, I'll be out in a second.
He's got like a 99 bananas in the fireball. He's putting them together. He's like, oh! Okay. Then we had the 4 Pillars tag team match, of course. Darby and Jungle Jack Perry go over. Like I said before, I thought this was really well done because the 2 heels started getting pissed off at each other because they were trying to take credit for the pin each time. They basically had it won. And then Jungle Jack Perry comes in, cleans house, gets ready to do the pin. Darby Allin does a blind tag and goes to do a coffin drop. And Jungle Jack Perry has to get the fuck out of the way. And then Sammy Guevara takes a pretty rough coffin drop. Ugh. Like he rolled out of the way like he was kind of pissed about it after he got pinned because he didn't stay down for all 3. It wasn't like in NJPW where they stay down for all 3, but they just kind of like lift a leg at the very end and like Red Shoes doesn't count it. I wish those NJPW guys would kick out a little bit harder. That being said,
you're the guy that took the chop too.
So I have the most credibility here?
Yes.
As the only real worker on the podcast.
What'd you think about this match, Jason?
I thought it was the match itself. I thought was good. It was a really good main event. You had the intrigue of MJF going into the locker room, pulling Jungle Boy aside. You know, planting seeds of dissension. Darby coming in and already thinking about, I don't necessarily have to like you, but I have to kind of trust you. And now MJF's doing this. So obviously leading into the match, you had, more so drama than you thought you would have to begin with. Sammy and MJF going sideways was perfect, and it just leads to the finish. I know I said that this is what I wanted to begin with, and I still want that. I don't necessarily think that it's a bad thing that they took this scenic route to get here. Guys got their reps, and I think ultimately that's what is the most important thing. Sammy Guevara got to be on the main stage for a little bit. MJF, obviously, but obviously Jungle Boy and Darby Allin got some reps as well. So at the end of the day, I have no problem with this whole angle. It was good to start. I was excited about it then. I'm still excited about it now. It was a sprinkle of a preview of what could be. So I'm all for it, Predictable isn't always bad. I agree with my man over here on this one. So in this scenario, I'm good with it. Let's just see. Now from this point, how do you build the next couple weeks to make it hotter? We've already got the match. Now you got to build on it a little bit more.
How many weeks away are we?
A couple of weeks. I was going to say it's at the end of the month, if I'm not mistaken.
Zach, thoughts?
You got 1 pillar, 2 pillars, 3 pillars, 4 pillars. You throw in a couple potatoes, get it simmering for the next couple of weeks. Baby, you got a stew going.
Don't throw that bone away. You put that in the broth. You got a stew. Okay, so that's going to do it for our 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
Incredible analysis by 3 Beer Zach Paul. Just incredible analysis.
Best in the business.
So Zach, it's the 3 count. I don't know how much time you have left. We have Backlash predictions, or we have Dantoku. What would you like to do?
I'm probably good. Dexter's throwing a javelin right now, and then he's going to do shot put. So you guys pick.
Okay, so, well, I'd rather you be here for predictions, to be honest.
Wait a minute.
He's watching the javelin.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah, Dexter's throwing right now. You guys go ahead.
I was going to say, did he get stabbed by the javelin?
Hey, everybody, we got some predictions this week.
Dexter killed his own father.
So this is Backlash in Puerto Rico, as Donald Trump would say it. So, all right. So what I'm a little bit confused about is that Wikipedia has no match here for Rey Mysterio. So Rey Mysterio is not having a match at this fucking
pretty sure
pay-per-view?
I'm pretty sure he's not.
Okay. Then I'm going to cross this one out because I just assumed that was going to be on there. When I filled this out on Tuesday, and I just assumed it would be on Wikipedia by today, but it's not.
No,
so,
I thought they had that match. I guess that was Monday when Don was getting booed out the building.
It's a 7-match card then, and we're gonna start with Bianca Belair versus Io Shirai for the Raw Women's Championship. Jason, what do you got?
I mean, said it earlier. It's gonna be a title switch. You know, you can't have a title switch without one person having the title beforehand. So you know, it should be ultimately this needs to be a showcase for Io Sky. If you didn't know Io Shirai in Stardom and you don't know who she is in NXT, this is the chance for those who don't know her to get to know her. Pretty good opponent in Bianca, but ultimately Bianca Belair who should retain.
I'm assuming that Zach's still on mute, so I'm going to put down Bianca Belair for him unless he screams at me. I am also
Good call.
I'm also taking Bianca Belair. It doesn't make any sense. One of these days they're going to have to take the belt off of her, but they're not going to do it on a match that nobody's looking forward to. So, I'm taking Bianca Belair.
I'm looking forward to it. It's not going to be a title change.
I mean, but when you look at the card, it's not there.
Fair.
Let's go with Rhea Ripley versus Zelina Vega. Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico's on. No, go ahead.
This is a tough call. This is definitely not the Stone Cold Blood Pipe Block of the week.
Why shouldn't it be?
No, he's being facetious.
I was about to say, what the fuck? This is the
Jason
dunk
doesn't
of
know
dunks.
what that means.
That is so
Well played.
fucking. That is
Well played.
that's an inside
Well played.
joke.
That's a
Well played.
very inside joke.
Have we ever told that story here?
I think once
on the
or twice.
podcast.
I think once or twice. Yes, I think I'm gonna go ahead and say.
Would you like to tell the story, or should I tell the story? I wasn't there.
I would tell the story very quickly. Me and a few friends were out. We're having some drinks. I was talking to a friend. I used the word facetious. I was being facetious, and then a random white woman looked at me and was like, "I didn't know that black people knew the word facetious," and then I had to stop my friend from beating her ass. It was a big ass deal. Neither here nor there.
Not a male beating her ass.
No,
it was another female
trying to beat the other
her
female,
ass.
yes.
Yeah.
Which is great. Shout out to Sherry. I love you, babe.
I didn't know black men knew the word facetious.
No, black people.
Can
Black
you
people.
imagine? Can you imagine saying that to somebody?
It was good. Good thing it was like,
Even if
what-
you believe it like I do, can you imagine saying it out loud? You know what I mean?
This is where I think, like, if there's reincarnation.
I'm sorry, that was so bad.
No, I must spin off of this because I've been thinking about this a lot lately. If there's reincarnation, I hope I'm not one of those guys. You know, like that narrow-minded, that like so closed off for the rest of the world that my way is the right way and everything that me and my people say are the smartest thing in the world and everybody else is just the stupid motherfuckers. I'm like, dude, I get it.
This wasn't a post-Trump world either. This was like 2007 or 2008 or something, right?
Trump was basically The Apprentice, if The Apprentice was even a thing at this point.
We might have had a black president when this happened.
Maybe. Maybe. I was getting ready to say, I would almost say this is right around the
Which is when I thought we were post-racial.
That's the next drop we need on this motherfucker is the big X, you know.
This is why I don't tell people that I work with that I have this podcast. Like,
okay.
I do not want Tasha listening to this podcast.
Oh, Tasha would have a field day with your ass.
She loves me.
No, she'd be like, "What you saying last night?" I heard what you said.
Don't listen, Tasha.
I say she'd be the one holding your ass to task. Okay, what's next?
Rhea Ripley versus Zelina Vega. I said he was being facetious. So who do you have? You have Rhea Ripley?
Come on now.
Okay, so everybody's got Rhea Ripley. Okay, that was fun. That was a fun little detour into racism. Next up, we have Seth Rollins versus Omos.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay.
Zach,
I'm going to go first. No,
Zach,
I'm going to go first.
Zach,
I'm going to go first.
Zach missed my AKA tonight.
Oh, he did.
Which was Omos only counts on horseshoes and hand grenades. So who do you have, Jason?
I'm going to go first.
Please.
Because I'm going to let you guys figure out how you going
Where
to
we're at?
how you going to dig your ass out of this hole. Obviously, I'm taking Seth Rollins. Him and Drew McIntyre, I think, are going to be the two finalists for the new WWE Championship. I'm going to go pee. I'm going to try to close my ears as you jokers try to talk your way out of not picking Seth Rollins.
I'll let the human...
Stone Cold Lock of the Week. I'm going to put that on that, too. That's how far
I wouldn't do that.
That's how far.
I'll let the human calendar go next. What do you think, Zach?
This is definitely Seth Rollins.
Okay. So, I can't believe you took Omos. Zach. Jason can't hear us right now. No, he can't. No, you can't hear us. I would love to pick Omos, and I know that there are a lot of people out there that are picking Omos for this because they're like, oh, well, Seth Rollins can build his way back as a babyface. Hey, guys, that ain't the way that WWE does things. It's not going to be Omos. It is going to be Seth Rollins. I'm taking Seth Rollins with a caveat that this is not my Stone Cold Lead Pipe Lock of the Week, because I could see them doing something a little bit stranger. What is my Stone Cold Lead Pipe Lock of the Week is Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair. Those are my two Stone Cold Lead Pipe Locks of the week.
Troll Maggie's like, you know it can't be Troll Boy. Troll Boy, you know why it can't be you, right?
That's amazing.
Okay, so we have 4 matches left. 4 matches that are pretty interesting, I would say. Let's start with Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest. Bad Bunny from Puerto Rico.
Horrible.
And listen, I'm not saying this to make fun of people from Puerto Rico. My good friend Marcos, who Jason knows, always puts on Facebook every year, please do not wish a happy Cinco de Mayo to Puerto Ricans, so don't do that tomorrow, which I always think is a very funny thing to post. This is Bad Bunny's first singles match. He has been in Royal Rumbles. He's been in tag matches. I don't think this is going to go on last. I think we talked about this last week. I do think that Bad Bunny is going to win, though, so I'm taking Bad Bunny. Who you got, Jason?
Damn. This is going to be interesting.
You got to be fucking kidding me. You think that fucking Damian Priest is going to be Bad Bunny in Puerto Rico?
They both come from Puerto Rico. I mean, they kind of
and one of them's the biggest fucking stars in the world, and the other one is Damian Priest. The other one's Punishment Martinez.
All right, fine. I'll take Bad Bunny. God damn it!
I don't want to talk you into it.
Oh man, he talked him into it.
I should have let him. I should have just let him.
He totally did.
I couldn't believe it though. I was amazed.
No, I was going to make the case for it, but never mind.
Zach, who you got?
I think they put some smiles on some Puerto Rican faces and they make it Bad Bunny.
Any chance this closes it out?
No.
I'd say there's a 30% chance.
Okay.
That's if Brock opens the show. Brock and Cody open the show because Brock was to get on his jet like 5 minutes after the match.
Yeah, it's a long flight. It's a long flight from Puerto Rico.
I was going to say that's the only match that I thought would be the main event.
It's a long flight from Puerto Rico to Manitoba or Saskatchewan or wherever the fuck he's from.
Well, I mean, damn, it's not like this card is shit, but I mean, what Bad Bunny is going to be?
I don't think this card is shit. I think this is a pretty good. This is a pretty decent card.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that. But I mean, if you're Triple H or Vince, Bad Bunny's going to main event with Punishment Martinez.
But there is. So now I'm arguing against myself. There is no bigger star that they've had a
I should
bigger.
just took Damian Priest.
Take Damian Priest?
Nope.
You want to?
Nope. You already beat me into
pussy.
it.
You fucking pussy.
Let's say I'll run the fly route. Fuck it.
All right, so we have the 3-on-3 match, which is Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and Matt Riddle versus the Usos and Solo Sikoa. Lots of chances for some. Give them the just to be generous for some storytelling here, which is to say some chicanery. 3 beers, Zach. Who do you got?
They've been beating the Usos. Like, it was the 6-man, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think the heels win.
Because there's no belts on the line?
Yeah, since there's no belt on the line, Riddle's going to get the pin. He's going to take the pin.
Who do you have?
I'm taking the baby faces. I'm a little surprised that Two-Beer went against his number 1 pick overall in our BFR draft. I think this is just adding more layers to the bloodline decline. You know, you said it on talking about SmackDown's main event. Solo Sikoa is coming out there to do somebody in. Now, who it is, what it happened, we'll get there at some point. But to me, this is more so of the bloodline decline. I'm going to take the baby faces, KO, Sammy, and Riddle on this one.
I'm with Jason once again. I'm taking the baby faces. I think that Solo turns on the Usos and some shit happens. I'm taking
At
the baby.
Backlash?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm taking the baby faces at Backlash also. Zach's on an island here. We were all lined up the whole way
island
there.
of relevancy.
What a pro.
I was about to say,
what a fucking
pro.
pro.
I was thinking it. I was just like, never mind.
What a pro here. I didn't even set him up for that. We didn't talk about that before, people. We didn't talk about that before.
As soon as you said out, I was just like, and there's the alley.
All right.
3 beers coming up like,
So there's 2 matches left, and I saved the 2 matches that I want to see the most for last. I will save the Cody Brock Lesnar for last. Next up, we have Bobby Lashley, Austin Theory, and Bronson Reed for the U.S. title in a Vegas special triple threat match. I'm going to go first here because I haven't gone first in a while. Considering that Austin Theory and Bobby Lashley are going to be on the same show, they're both going to be on SmackDown, and Bronson Reed's going to be on Raw. I'm going to take Bronson Reed as the least likely to win, and maybe I shouldn't have said that to you guys, but I'm going to take Bobby Lashley, and I'm going to take Austin Theory as the second most to win. Zach, you're up next.
Oh, a 3-way, huh?
Man, you get me all hot and bothered every time you say it.
Oh, this is tough stuff. Well, what are we doing? All right, I'm going to go with Bronson Reed, least likely. Yeah, Bobby Lashley second, and then I can't remember his name. Theory. Theory is going to retain.
Jason.
I guess I'm seeing things a little differently now. Not really, but just...
Wait, what you have?
Well,
what do you mean you're seeing things differently?
Well,
I thought we were supposed to be true to our original picks.
I'm not saying I'm going to switch my pick. I'm just thinking that with the mid-card titles, switching...
This is unbelievable.
All right.
Just make your picks. It's fine. It's fine. Just make your picks.
Sticking my pick. I'm going to go least to most. I'm going to go Bobby Lashley the least likely because I think he's in line at some point to go against Roman Reigns.
Love it.
At some point, we've been talking about it.
Yeah.
You wanted to do it. Let's just fucking do it.
Do it.
It's time to do it.
Do it.
Second in Jesus fucking Christ. I really want to pick Bronson Reed to win this shit, but I'm not going to do it.
Do it.
No, fuck it. I'll do it. I'll do Bronson Reed at number 1. I'll go Austin Theory at 2. You brown-beating me into this shit. I wanted to do it anyway.
You 2 of them, and then you're going to win.
No, this is the one I wanted to do.
So if you win, it actually means I win too.
No, you can take like 1A credit. Bronson Reed 1, Austin Theory 2.
And then
I
finally,
thought they wanted to do it anyway.
I'm going to let you go first so you can't just piggyback off of me and Zach's pick.
This motherfucker here.
We have Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. Who you got, Jason?
The conventional wisdom is Brock. It makes total sense. But if you're going to tell the story...
The conventional wisdom is Brock?
Yeah, because he's if you look at these two jokers...
Hold on. Zach, would you say the conventional wisdom is Brock?
I think what he means is it's hard to bet against Brock. Or maybe I'm wrong.
Okay, Jason, who do you got?
I'm going to take Cody on this one because you can't have the story being finished without him beating Brock Lesnar. If it goes a second round, so be it. That second round will be at SummerSlam.
Yep.
I think this one, it has to at least, I really figure it has to go to Cody. If Brock wins, he wins. And that's not a knock against Cody Rhodes. You lose to Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. I mean, there's 2 worse guys to lose against to. But I really think at some point you're going to get Cody back on track. This is a good time to do it. Why not? Cody Rhodes.
So Zach, who are you taking?
I've got Cody, but I think that they run it back in Saudi and Brock trounces America right in front of all those Saudis.
Man, all 3 of us have Cody. I'm taking Cody also. See, I thought the conventional wisdom was Cody. Unless they're just going to beat Cody down until next year's WrestleMania.
I don't think it's going to be that far. I just think that just looking at Brock Lesnar's WWE resume versus Cody Rhodes' WWE resume, not even close. If you add the AEW resume, not even close.
All codes lead to roadie.
Trademark that shit too. We should have got all roads to lead to Roman. You got that shit, WWE. We gonna trademark that shit right now.
All right, so this is not bad. Like, there were only 7 matches. We have 5 that are the exact same. But Zach took the heels on the 3-on-3. So he took the Samoans. And all 3 of us have different first place guys for the triple threat. So that'll be fun to watch.
I think it'll be a fun match to watch to begin with.
I mean, that's probably that. Those last 2 are the ones I'm looking forward to the most.
Outside of that, everything else should be chalk.
I love Brock match. I love every single Brock match because I just want to see how they book it. Like, how much is he going to sell? How many suplexes are they going to do? How many F5s?
No,
I just like to see how they
Brock
book
is
it.
a very interesting guy to book because you have to book him strong, but you can't book the other guy too strong. So, I mean, it's going to be one to watch. Because Cody Rhodes is not going to be guy.
Are you going to be watching it live?
That's Saturday afternoon, correct?
Yes.
Like noonish our time?
No, it's in America.
So is it?
Oh no, it's in Puerto Rico.
So
which is America, by the way.
Is it night or is it a nighttime or a daytime?
Dude, they're down by like.
I know where they are, motherfucker.
They're
I'm
like
just
2 hours ahead of us, or something.
I'm asking you, what time does the show start? That's all I'm asking.
7 o'clock, I guess.
Okay, so I'll be at work. I'll watch it after I get off work.
Zach, how much do you know about time zones?
I mean, some. It's got to be either East Coast or one off.
Yeah, I was thinking it might be too off. Anyway, that's going to do it for our 3 count.
From Ringside.
All right, so what did you guys
All
think?
right, I know this is going to be my count, but I got to duck out now because I got to get dinner for my family. So, thanks for having me. Sorry that I was out in late and out early.
He said thanks for having me.
Party. Yeah.
He said thanks for
thanks for answering the phone.
He's been on 270 episodes of this shit. Thanks for having me. You're on.
That's how I still feel.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel lucky every time. I say thank you to my wife after sex every time too.
Hey Zach, you owe me 270. All right, see you, dude.
See you guys.
All right, so let's get to Duntaku real fast. You okay? You gonna be able to do this? I mean, we can make this an under 2 hour pod.
Yes, I'm with you. Let's go. Go.
Did you watch Duntaku?
Of course I did.
What was your favorite match?
Main event I thought was probably the match of the night. I like the fact that the Zack Sabre Jr. Jeff Cobb match went to a time limit draw. I thought that was a nice dichotomy of ZSJ's technical style, trying to throw around the Imperial unit that is one Jeff Cobb. I think that they're going to run it back. It sounds like it's going to be at Dominion, but neither here nor there. Just things to look out for moving forward. Aussie Open, Bishamon, and House of Torture are going to do a triple threat match for the IWGP Tag Team Championships. David Finlay and ELP are going to resume their feud. David Finlay beat Tama Tonga. That's one of the few things that I didn't like. Excuse me. I think Tama Tonga is kind of underutilized in the New Japan world. Neither here nor there. No, I'm not saying that.
Finlay didn't beat him. Finlay killed him.
I'm not going that far.
Damn near killed him.
I'm not going that far. It was basically nip and tuck for the first 10 minutes, and then the last 5 or 6, you made Finlay look like the killer, quote unquote, that he's supposed to be. But if you're going to do that, I get it. David Finlay is not very well received as Bullet Club leader, so you're going to have to make somebody the martyr. I just wish it wouldn't be Tama Tonga.
So Kevin Kelly and Chris Charlton were tremendous during that Jeff Cobb, Zack Sabre Jr. match, because they kept stressing how Zack Sabre Jr. could just run out the 15 minutes and that he doesn't mind doing that because he's smaller than Jeff Cobb and Jeff Cobb's really big. And they were like, at 6 minutes, they were like, Jeff Cobb's being really patient. He must know that he can just get him at some point. The last 3 minutes of that match were really exciting because I could see Jeff Cobb taking the belt off Zack Sabre Jr. at that point, make Zack Sabre Jr. chase it as the new part of the TMDK, which are my favorite faction in wrestling. I love them.
They are good.
Did you see the promo that is boycott? He's like, oh, I'm Zack Sabre. Yeah. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm Zack Sabre Jr. Oh, I'm wearing this jacket because I like rock and roll guys.
Shane Hayes is good. He's quietly a very good promo.
So I want TMDK merch. So if anybody's listening out there, but
he goes in large.
The XL, please. You got a powerful dryer. Make it a double XL, okay? But they were tremendous telling the story of Zack Sabre Jr. being okay to wait it out, and
he chose not to.
What bothers me about that match, and this is becoming a theme, is the refereeing. Zack Sabre Jr. was on his back with his shoulders against the mat. Red Shoes got to be counting there. I'm sorry. Like that's the little bit of realism that I want to make it just give it that next level.
No,
you know what I mean?
Totally fair.
I love it when some dudes got. In fact, they ended that Liv Morgan Ronda Rousey match that way, and I thought it was pretty badass. Find the tape. Like I was like, that's kind of a cool way to end the match.
No, I don't have a problem with the fact that it ended in a draw. I thought that, especially with Zack Sabre Jr., I think this is a good person to establish this new TV title that they have going.
Totally. Jeff Cobb is the type of dude that could take it off of him and not have it be weird.
And I was thinking about that as the match
In fact,
was
they're
going,
probably like on the same level pretty much.
where now if Jeff Cobb will just, let's say he won it at Duntaku, I'm like, okay, so how do you get it off of Jeff Cobb in 15 minutes? This is going to be like something that you can really run and you can run it with Zack Sabre Jr. if you wanted to. So, I mean, this is going to be something that Gato and company are going to have to figure it out.
So
they're going to run it back at Dominion, which is always good.
Right. This is something that I never really thought about until a couple weeks ago when I listened to you guys do the podcast without me. I never thought about Sonata actually winning against Okada.
I don't think anybody did.
I thought it sounded stupid to me. Now I see him, I think he looks incredible. That match with Takahashi, that match with Hiromu at this pay-per-view was tremendous. You know, it was the same type of NJPW shit where the last 4 minutes are completely insane, reversal. But if that's a style I'm down with. I said it on this podcast. I was a little
that
sick.
Shining Wizard where Hiromu basically, it felt like he was doing like a 450 at some point. He never came down. That was the point where I was like, God damn.
I got it.
Great match though.
But like I said on this podcast, I was getting kind of sick of Okada.
I don't necessarily.
The only character change he's ever had is he starts doing the money clip. No, he starts doing the money clip more.
No,
that's the only character change.
I think the Balloon Okada is something that a lot of people forget. I forgot about it a little bit.
But
money clip Okada.
Now he has the Neverweight 6-man title.
Interesting.
With Ishii and
that's Ishii and Tanahashi to me is the dynamic of this title reign or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, but Okada wrestled the last 5 minutes of that match against two guys the entire time.
Tanahashi with a broken rib.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be what they wanted to do to begin with. Now, when you have a broken rib Tanahashi and you have to try to make this work, I think they made it work. It was probably like my third favorite match of the night.
So Sanada got the title match because he won the New Japan Cup?
Yes.
Okay, so who wins G1?
We haven't even got the fucking... We're talking about Best of the Super Juniors first, okay?
Dude, it's a
slow down. Slow down.
Hey, man.
I know.
It's a podcast.
I know. I get you.
You can guess whatever you want.
Okay, but here's why I'm saying let's just slow down
for a second. You can say Eugene. Actually, put Eugene in the G1. Put him in the G1.
This is why I'm saying slow down. So, like, David Finlay just won the Never Openweight Championship. Yota Tsuji just came over back from...
I think we're going to see Hikuleo in there.
Right. So, I mean, there's still a couple months to just flush it out. Let's see what the...
Just an early prediction, man. That's all I'm asking for. It's not that hard. Just say Okada.
No, I'm not. As the champion that's Sonata, there are so many options that you can put up with. Will Ospreay, Okada, Naito, Shingo.
Naito.
Oh, it's not going to be Naito, but I'm just saying, you get my point. Okay? Evil. Anybody that has LIJ connections to Sonata is in play. And then anybody that...
Just make a prediction.
Will Ospreay.
Really?
You browbeat me into it, I'll go Will Ospreay. Because if I'm thinking about it, Will Ospreay will hold that shit. Okada beats Sonata at some point down the line. You get Okada, Will Ospreay, next year's Wrestle Kingdom.
If you think about like the last 2 or 3 years, the way they've been telling stories since the pandemic, right? So they had a guy, they tried the guy, then they got the old guy, and then they tried a guy, and then they got the old guy, and now they got the new guy. There's only one person that can win this year's G1. Just one guy. Yano.
This is banned from ringside.
This
Hey, everybody, we got some birthdays this week.
You got my ass. I'm like, really? I'm leaning in.
Mr. Fuji would have been 88, R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Orange Cassidy is 39. Brian Knobbs is 59. Brian Knobbs is only 20 years older than Orange Cassidy. In my head,
That does not sound
they are
right.
55. Yeah, maybe I did the math wrong, actually. Cole Cabana, a couple months younger than me. He's 43. Dakota Kai is 35. Piper Niven is 32. Owen Hart,
R.I.P.
R.I.P. is 58. Tangaloa is 40. K.O. my dog, my absolute fucking dog is 39. Will Ospreay is 30. They have the same birthday. Tommaso Ciampa and Io Sky.
Whoa, how many people have the same birthday?
I think it's Owens, Ospreay, Ciampa, and Io Sky.
All same day?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
May 8th maybe or something.
Whatever.
Something like that. I wish I knew it. That would have made me a real KO mark.
Right.
Tito Santana is 70, and William Regal 55.
Rabbit fever, middle of the night.
Hey, everybody,
Holy
we know there's
shit.
tons of podcasts to listen to, so we appreciate you guys listening to our podcast.
Konnichiwa, bitches.
For Murray the Murray Man Murray, for
Check.
Alicia Chris, for
Check.
Patriot Pat,
Check.
for Joey O'Farrell, for
Double check.
Jinder Mahal,
Check.
for Vice,
Check.
Black Lives Matter.
Check.
Don't choke people out until they're dead if they're just bothering you.
Wow. Check.
I guess you don't watch the news. For
hell
Two
no.
Bears Zach Pullman, for
Check.
my wife there,
Check.
for the dog Reba,
Check.
for Sander, for Millie
Check.
the Cats,
Check.
for Jason Cornelius Bell, for 3 Beer, I'm Bill
Check, check.
Becky and Boo the Heels.